What is the best way to discover your strengths? Have you ever noticed how successful people seem to have a superpower, something that they know that makes them uniquely who they are? That's because they've discovered their strengths. I'm excited to talk with you about that today. One of the most important ways to discover your strengths is to have self-awareness. When we have great self-awareness, we know that which we can offer and bring to the table. Promise you this video that we're going to be discovering some of those things together, as well as I'm going to give you some ideas and examples. Probably you've heard of before, but others that you never would have considered, and so I'm excited for us to dive in. Let's talk first about remarkable individuals who already have discovered their strengths and share them every day, and we've heard about them. For example, Elon Musk. Now, that's a controversial name to some, but I'll tell you what, this guy has discovered his strengths, hasn't he? He's innovative, he's creative, he's relentless. He's an interesting guy because he actually shares his formulas. And he says, hey, everybody can learn how to do this. I'm going to share everything I know, and I would love for everyone else to try to do it along with us. What's interesting, though, about that is that nobody's going to do it as fast as him. He is relentless in his work ethic, and that's part of his great strength. Another example you've probably heard of, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah started as a journalist. Well, actually, she even started as an actor before that, and she's a great one. She has so many talents and strengths, but she turned into this great journalist who then became a TV show host and then became Oprah, right? Like, she's an institution. But when you think about Oprah, she's great at storytelling. She's so good at interviewing people. She cares about people. I mean, if you've ever seen her shows where she's giving things away, she's like, you get a car, you get a car. So she's gracious. She's generous. She's got a lot going for her, and she's done so well for decades now because she discovered her strengths and leans into using them. Another example that a lot of people refer to as one of my favorites, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is the creator and founder of Apple products. And in fact, I'm reading off my script today is on an Apple product. It's on an iPad. I have an iPhone. I have my AirPods. I really think Steve Jobs is amazing. This guy is a genius of creativity. He was also a genius in finding people that were much smarter in his opinion who could help with things that he knew he couldn't do. And so, in that sense, he partnered up with Steve Wozniak, and they came up with all of these incredible products, right? But we know Steve Jobs because he was on stage as a communicator. One of the greatest speakers you've ever seen because he created anticipation. He made it so that you were always wondering what was next, what was coming next, and he would reveal these actually game-changing inventions that he had been thinking about for years. These are famous people that have great strengths and talents. I hope that you'll take courage from them and you'll learn of their stories, because the more we know about how people that are great use their strengths, then we can also realize why we need to use ours as well. Understanding the power of self-discovery is really interesting, and it's very important. Of course, as you start to look at your own talents and your gifts and the things that you're good at, you might be thinking to yourself, I don't even know what my strengths are. Well, think about it this way. You first have a gift or a talent. That's what we like to look at first. A gift and a talent can eventually become a strength. A strength is essentially something that we've brought from a different place and become great at it. So, for example, I may be naturally good at making people laugh just because I do funny faces, but that doesn't mean it's a strength until I work on it enough that I can use it in every single situation that I have, right? And so when you think about your own strengths, how are you developing those and utilizing them in all of the things that you do? I have been teaching you this for years, and I mean, there are some great ways to do it, whether it's Now Discover Your Strengths, there's Strengths Finders, there's Myers-Briggs, there's all kinds of different places you can take strengths assessments. But I've put something together for you that will absolutely help you if you want to go check it out. If you go to icmprocess.com, icmprocess.com is such a cool place for me to send you, and I hope that you'll go check it out. Here's why. When you go through the ICM process, which is all about discovering your strengths, your signature moves is what I like to call them. It helps you define what it is that makes you unique. And when you define your strengths, then you can share them with the world. And so ICM stands for Identify, Clarify, Magnify. When's the last time you sat down and identified some of your talents? Instead of talking about what you need to improve on, that's usually what happens at work, right? You sit down with the manager and they're like, you need to improve this and this and that. And you're like, oh man, if only I could use my strengths. Imagine if the manager sat down with you, or the leader, and said, let's talk about and identify your gifts and talents. That's a way different conversation. So that's what we're talking about at the ICMprocess.com with this great worksheet. So I want you to identify 100 gifts. Yeah, I said it, 100 gifts. You're probably like, I don't know if I have 10. Don't think that. You have 100. Write them down, identify them. That's the first step. The next step is clarify. Clarify is when you're going to ask others what your strengths or talents are in their opinion. This is a really cool thing because they're going to see things in you you had no idea you had. And then you can magnify that process once you have all of your talents spread out before you and you say, oh yeah, I am good at that. Oh, I can turn that talent into a strength. And the next thing you know, you're changing the world like Oprah or like Steve Jobs or some of these incredible people like Elon Musk. Let's talk about embracing the growth mindset. What I love about the fact that you and I are talking today is that you're here. Honestly, this is huge for you. I'm really proud of you. I mean, maybe we're dear friends in life, but I actually don't know who's watching this, and that's why I appreciate your being here. You have a growth mindset. You clicked the button. You've watched this far. Good job. Keep doing that. Go find other resources in order to have that growth mindset, to continue to improve, to find what your gifts and talents are. So you're here. That's a great step. Now, I want you to take some courage from my son. Yes, my son just turned 17 years old. His name is Redford. Redford has been trying for years to find his gifts and talents and turn them into strengths. This sweet boy, I'll tell you, as a dad watching my son not give up when things have been tough, I'm so proud of him. Let me just give you an example. He tried out for the basketball team. He didn't make it. He practiced some more. He tried out the next year. He didn't make it. He went out for some other sports. He tried an election for a position at the school. He didn't make it. I mean, you would think that a kid by now is pretty frustrated. I don't know what it is about Redford. He has a growth mindset, is what I found. That's one of his great strengths. He doesn't allow the fact that he's essentially failed at things he's tried because he understands the power of failing enough leads to success. And I'm so proud of him for understanding that process because some people fail and never try again. Redford has learned that as you stack fail after fail, you will eventually succeed. Here's what's happened. As he started doing YouTube research, he learned that he could figure out how to play the piano on YouTube. And so even though I played the piano, I didn't teach him. He had to learn it himself, and he wanted to. He figured out how to play Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a song I can't even play, and I've been playing the piano for 30 years. Redford figured that out. He then found a talent, and he turned it into a strength. Now he can play a lot of things on the piano. Just because he failed in basketball didn't mean he couldn't play lacrosse. He made the lacrosse team. Now he continues to improve his talents, right? He also realized he was good at filmmaking. He could film his friends and everybody would laugh, and so then he put together a movie. Next thing we know, he's actually doing movie premieres in our basement, $5 per kid coming to our house to watch his movies. He's made thousands of dollars. I hope this is giving you courage and giving you encouragement to say, I guess I should keep trying new things. Redford was not elected to the position he wanted at school in the leadership, but then he ran for something else and he got it. In fact, at the time of this filming, he's running for another position in the school. I don't know if he'll make it. I hope he does because he would be great for the school. But here's the point. He doesn't give up. He has talents and strengths, and he continues to work towards them by doing what you're doing. He watches videos, he watches experts who know about it, and he figures out his strengths. Now think about identifying patterns and passions that you're really feeling like, oh gosh, I think I'm good at this. One of my favorite examples of this is my own father, my dad. When he was in college, he was thinking, do I become a lawyer? Do I become a doctor? He had all these great opportunities ahead of him, but he started selling insurance on the side. Life insurance, yeah. Most people would think you probably don't want to worry about life insurance, go be a doctor or a lawyer. But he was making so much money selling life insurance part-time, and he was great at it, and he loved it. It became a passion. This became a pattern in his life that no matter what he tried as a salesman, he was great at it. So we continue to sell. When you think about what you're working towards, maybe you have a passion for something else or an aptitude of something different. Maybe that strength can be turned into something that could make your living and can make a difference in the world. I'm really proud of my dad because obviously he's my dad, but it's one thing to watch him have this career as an insurance guy and a financial planner that became one of the top in the world. Eventually he decided to try a couple other things and they didn't quite stick. Now he's in his 70s. In the last 10 years, he's gone into a completely different industry. He started a health supplement product, a little drink mix that helps your heart and your blood flow. It's called Cardio Miracle. I'm proud of my dad. Here's a guy who does not look like he's very healthy, but he's selling a health product to help others to gain their health again. He's really good at sales, like I said. He's found patterns in his life and passions in order to create something really important for a lot of people. In fact, there are millions of people taking his product now. It's only a 10-year-old company. He's in his 70s. It's kind of like Colonel Sanders, the KFC guy, right? It doesn't matter how old you are. You can continue to find your strengths, your passions, your skills, and your gifts. And I hope that you'll continue to do that, just like my dad, John Hewlett. So I'd recommend that you ask others what you're good at. I'd recommend that you seek ways that you can utilize your talents, your gifts. And I would also recommend that you consider for yourself the hardest times you've been through and how you overcame those challenges. I bet there's a strength in there that you've never considered. For example, in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I lost all my work as a speaker on stage in front of people. Next thing I knew, I was figuring out how to turn on a camera, turn on lights, put on a microphone, and do my speech on Zoom. This became a great strength for me. It's become something that I've utilized now for years. I'm so thankful for the pandemic that made me discover a strength. Instead of having to go through the hard things in order to discover the strengths, maybe, just maybe, it's time for you to say to yourself, I'm going to go and discover even more of my talents, gifts, and strengths right now. And that's why you're watching this video. So I'm proud of you for being here. Let me give you this that I'm so excited to give you. It's going to change your life. It's called Now Discover Your Signature Moves. It's the ICM process. So ICM stands for Identify, Clarify, Magnify. I'd love for you to go to the ICMprocess.com. So go ICMprocess.com. Identify, clarify, and magnify your talents, just like my son Redford has, just like my dad John Hewlett has. And as you discover those talents, as you identify what you're good at, clarify from others what you have that makes you unique, you can magnify your gifts and continue to share that which is your unique strengths in this world. I'm excited for you and thanks for joining me today.